Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have an exceptionally interesting daily market update lined up for you, as over the weekend, the announcement of Larry Fink, who is the CEO of the largest asset manager in the world, being BlackRock, was announced as the co-chair of the World Economic Forum. Now, we're going to be, as always, looking at this from the crypto's perspective, or from crypto's perspective, and giving you what this potentially means for crypto. And Larry Fink has previously said the world will be tokenized, every asset will be tokenized. He's also, in his letter to investors, spoke about the revolutionary properties that the cryptocurrency market brings in regards to the financial system, which we know, according to the President of the United States, Scott Bessent, David Sachs, Paul Atkins, we looked at yesterday, the financial system is changing. A new era is being unlocked by this technology. And the World Economic Forum's agenda, and I'm going to try and stay neutral on putting this information forwards and just looking at it purely from a accelerant to the adoption of crypto globally point of view. Whether this is ultimately all a good thing or a bad thing, I think when the world globalizes, the real issue that you need to watch is if there's one individual or group of individuals that have control over that globalization and that system, well, that's, I think, a bit of a worry, and there's lots of question marks around that. I don't want to go too far into that. What I want to kind of explore specifically is the significance of Larry Fink becoming the co-chair of the World Economic Forum, what their agenda is, how crypto enables it, just like other technologies have enabled globalization. Like, for example, the invention of planes or the telephone or the internet. Now, crypto is that kind of next step in regards to globalizing the financial system. And Larry knows this. He's now co-chair of the World Economic Forum. I think this is a real accelerant in regards to the adoption of the cryptocurrency space. That's the aspect that I'm looking at this from, taking out my own personal bias about whether globalization is perhaps an ultimately good or a bad thing. And with everything in life, what I will say is that there's pros and cons. Which outweighs which is for you guys to decide. And I want to know your thoughts in the comment section. But this is what we're going to spend the majority of this daily market update talking about. I will get you guys ready for the week ahead by looking at what economic events we have. I think the only one that I'm really looking at, because I live in the UK, is UK inflation about to come in at about 4%. So we're not doing too well in inflation. We're not doing too well by any stats. If you look at the health of the United Kingdom from a citizen's point of view, we're regressing on most of them. And I always try and just skip over the UK because it's just, in my opinion, I don't, there's nothing really positive for me to derive out of what's happening in the UK right now. But that's really the only event. And then I'll talk to you guys a little bit about technically, I think Bitcoin could have just bounced off its bull flag, and that leads to our broad continuation. Anyway, stop rambling, Rupert. Let's get into it. So this is a statement from Larry Fink and Andre Hoffman, interim co-chair of the World Economic Forum. We are incredibly honored to take on this leadership role on an interim basis at a pivotal time for the World Economic Forum. As an organization, or as the organization moves into a new chapter, we look ahead with clarity, purpose, and confidence in the forum's enduring mission. The world is more fragmented and complex than ever, but the need for a platform that brings together businesses, governments, and civil societies has never been greater. We believe the forum can serve as a unique catalyst for cooperation, one that fosters trust, identifies shared goals, and turns dialogue into action. We remain optimistic the forum has an opportunity to help drive international collaboration in a way that not only generates prosperity, but distributes it more broadly. We'll get on to Larry Fink's letter to investors in just a second, and it sounds similar. He goes on to say, this renewed vision can promote open markets, interesting, and national properties side by side while advancing the interests of workers and stakeholders globally. Interesting. Very much referring to tokenization, some of those benefits. We look forward to helping shape a more resilient, prosperous future and to reinventing and strengthening the forum as an indispensable institute for public-private cooperation. And this is signed by Larry Fink and Andre Hoffman, interim co-chairs of the World Economic Forum. We'll do a video actually maybe looking at certain cryptos that have more of a role with the World Economic Forum later on today, I think, or at least one in particular. I want to remind you guys what Larry Fink actually has to say in regards to embracing crypto through tokenization, the fact that he believes this is the evolution of markets. That is going to happen, I think, predominantly on public blockchains. We see DTCC, and this is going to talk, or go into what we're going to talk about later, actually looking to enable their $100 trillion under management as the largest clearing house in the world. They're looking to bring all that on chain, and they're actually piloting and working with public blockchains to do this. The reason I bring all this up is because this is an accelerant, I think, for crypto adoption on a global scale. Again, good and bads to all this. We're leaving aside. We're trying to stay non-biased. Ultimately, the beautiful thing about being a crypto investor is what we hopefully all see is a technology that's going to change the world, and that we're very early on that journey, and that there's a great kind of prosperity that may come from capturing that technological shift through owning these individual cryptocurrencies. So let's recap on what Fink has previously said on the embrace of this technology through tokenization.
We believe the next step going forward will be the tokenization of financial assets. And that means every stock, every bond will have its own, basically, CUSIP. It'll be on one general ledger. Every investor, you and I, will have our own number, our own identification. We could rid ourselves of all issues around illicit activities about bonds and stocks and digital by having a tokenization. But the most importantly thing, we could customize strategies through tokenization that fits every individual. We would have instantaneous settlement. Think about all the costs of settling bonds and stock. But if you had a tokenization, everything would be immediate because it's just a line item. And so we believe this is a technological transformation for financial assets. If you want to talk about voting and voting choice and all the things, if we know every moment who is the owner of that stock and it's now time to vote, every individual who has ownership is identified and they can vote their own shares.
Do look at the video we released, the daily market update released yesterday, when we looked at what Paul Atkins had to say about moving to instantaneous settlements and how it kind of takes risk out of the system. You know, I really do hope everybody is already a subscriber to this channel, because I feel like we've got a really good understanding of it as a technology crypto and its impact on the world, but also the individual cryptos that are going to play a role, and how this kind of puzzle all pieces together. This was also Larry Fink's letter to investors. The democratization of investing, expanding prosperity in more places for more people. What did he say here? Essentially, he says the forum has the opportunity to help drive international collaborations in ways that not only generate prosperity, but distribute it more broadly. And pretty much the entire theme of this was cited around tokenization, unlocking private markets. They talk about a new shift in regards to portfolios. Let's get to the tokenization part of things. This was the shift in portfolios from a 60-40, 60% equities, 40% bonds. You know, that's obviously changing. It goes on to, let's just find it for you. This is actually worth reading, to be honest, in my opinion. Talks about 401ks. We saw an embrace of crypto via 401ks. You know, lots of financial freedom. It's all for your benefit, this, remember, guys. Let's just get to it. And it's pretty crazy to think that, you know, US federal debt held by public and can Bitcoin eat away at the US dollar reserves? It's doing that. Here we go. Tokenization is democratization. The world's money moves through plumbing built when trading floors still shouted orders and fax machines felt revolutionary. Take the Society of Worldwide International Financial Telecommunications, SWIFT. It's the system that underpins trillions of dollars in global transactions every day. And it works much like a relay race. Banks hand off instructions one by one, meticulously checking details at each step. It's like a switchboard. That relay approach made sense in the 1970s, an analog era when the markets were much smaller and daily transactions were much fewer. But today, relying on SWIFT feels like routing emails through the postal service. Tokenization can change all of that. If SWIFT is the postal service, tokenization is email itself. Assets move directly and instantly, sidestepping intermediaries. What exactly is tokenization? Well, it goes on to explain it. And and talks about the use of digital assets. I mean, this couldn't be more apparent. All of this and the direction the world's heading in, and crypto's role in it. If we literally had Larry Fink sat here himself saying it, this is clearly an agenda and a move towards globalization. And this is one of the reasons I'm so sure on crypto, because it just makes sense, right? That this technology is embraced. Technology and globalization kind of go hand in hand, in my opinion. So, interesting revelation. We've tried to stay non-biased on globalization, our overall thoughts, and really just focused on, okay, Larry Fink's now chair of the World Economic Forum. He's talking about a vision to kind of unify the world and spread prosperity and things like this. I think ultimately that is, or a big part of that plan is distributed ledger technology enabled. And we know that he's a believer in this technology and what it's going to do. We did identify this bull flag. There was a succession of bull flags. This could just be a retest, guys, and then you see continuation. We could have a nice week ahead of us. You've really not got a lot of market-moving events taking place. Obviously, we have UK inflation rate. So we're in for higher inflation, guys, here in the UK. The news just keeps getting better and better for us, doesn't it? You've also got some Fed minutes. Yeah, I think there'll be a bit of a non-starter. Jackson Hole, that might be interesting, actually, but nothing crazy like the past couple of weeks we've seen. I would look for this bull flag to play out. Also, your total market cap excluding Bitcoin, it just ran into all-time highs. It's about to break through this. I am doing a kind of cup and handle course with the patrons very soon. So do become a subscriber for that, or do check the link in the description and get on board with the Patreon. You'll unlock my portfolio and a number of other things. Also, if you're about today, we do have a live meeting. So that's really it from me, guys. I wanted to share the World Economic News, the World Economic Forum news, as it involves the CEO of the largest asset management company in the world, BlackRock, and what their goal is, how that aligns with crypto, and what he's previously said on crypto, and this being a major accelerant for its adoption globally. As far as price action is concerned, stop focusing on day-to-day price action. I truly think people should just be investing in this technology, not trying to trade it leverage. That's it from me, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to love and leave you. Thanks a lot. Have a smashing Sunday. I'll see you all in Monday's Daily Market Update.